Welcome to Big Time Super Friends, the show that brings you TV and movie shenanigans. I'm your host. Would you like to get some coffee? I'm Marcus.
Everybody knows that Pops is Switzerland. I'm Toby.
Sweet Christmas, motherfucker. I'm D.
Alright guys, welcome to our Luke Cage Netflix movie review. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going all the positives, all the negatives, our favorite scenes, our favorite characters, our least favorite characters, the whole nine. There will be spoilers in this show. Just quick heads up, if you haven't seen the show, I suggest you go see it. Add this to your favorites, come back to it whenever you have time. And with that said, let's get started. First of all, your overall impressions, guys. I mean...
Oh, I love how gritty this show was. Right from the get-go. It started off with a bang, and you knew this show was not going to fuck around.
You know, in the beginning, they said it was going to be very similar to The Wire, and I don't know if anybody, well, if you guys have seen The Wire.
I've watched a little bit of it.
It's pretty similar to where they show, like, you know, like the hood and what's, like, happening in the hood and, like, what's happening in the police department and the corruption that's happening in the police department. So I like that, you know. I thought that was very interesting to show, like, both sides of the two worlds that, you know, having to exist in Harlem, you know?
I have to just straight out say this show did not F around from the beginning. It is on par with, like, if you like Jessica Jones, if you like Daredevil, you will love this show. This is like very gritty, very, how do I describe this? It's in Harlem, so it's very urban, and I feel like they filmed the environment very well.
They did. It was very captivating how they showed something that you would perceive to be more ugly, you know what I mean, as like a hood would be, but you know, it was actually really nice, you know, how they filmed Harlem.
They showed the city, and they brought the emotion of the city.
Yeah,
and not only the grittiness of it, but almost the togetherness of it, with Pops's shop being kind of like a landmark of the city, would
like a haven,
would say, like
haven.
a safe haven where everyone could just kind of go, and it's kind of where it brought both worlds together, because it brought the gritty people in an area, you know, that wasn't allowed, that, you know, like right off the terms they knew, and there all that street shit goes out the window. You're here to get your fucking haircut.
And it didn't matter what gang you're from, whether... I got the sense of whether... It doesn't matter if you're law enforcement, you're with the Chinese gang, the black gang, Mexican gang, doesn't matter. When you're in with Pop Shop, that's it. Like, all that is left outside. I think they did a really good job. The character that... the actor that played Pops, I'm going to get to him a little bit later, but he, I would say, delivered on every single scene that guy was in.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
He played a very good father figure to Luke Cage, and you know what? Honestly, believe, and to the city for that matter. Yeah. And he's very believable. He's always looking out for the community, always looking out for kids that had maybe are in a bad road or
had like father issues. He would take them like under his wing, and you know, he would try to give them the support that they lacked.
And
in their lives.
He showed them that there was an option.
Yeah,
you didn't have to get caught up in the hood to.
Never backward, always forward.
Always forward. Yeah, he kept saying that. Now I think it was in the first episode, he was the one that, I think, the first one that I caught him saying Power Man. Calling Luke Cage Power Man. He's the one that gave him the nickname, essentially, in the show. Yeah. So I thought that was a cool little Easter egg. I hardly know anything about Luke Cage, but as far as like the character's concerned, I do know the basics. And when Pop said that, I instantly knew, okay, right from the get-go, they're going to throw in a lot of Easter eggs here and there. You better pay attention.
Nice little reference, too, you know.
There was a lot of references once you, like, started, like, really paying attention. Like, fast forward to the end of the show. I mean, they had some, they had Colleen Wiggs advertisement where she's, like, teaching martial arts, and Misty, I think. No, it's not Misty. It was... the nurse.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson's character. She goes and picks one of the little, like little tabs off of it.
Yeah,
and she's like, all right, let's go learn some martial arts now. You know what I mean? And that's a little nod to Iron Fist, who we're also getting a show from pretty soon. So that was cool.
And when it comes to Rosario Dawson, she was throwing multiple Easter eggs. Like there were certain scenes where Luke Cage is in trouble and he needs possibly legal help, and she mentioned, I think in 2 different occasions, maybe 3, is like, hey, I know some lawyers if you really need some. You know, if you need help, I know a really good lawyer. Clearly talking about Daredevil.
I know Daredevil, just throwing it out there.
Avocados at law.
Rosario Dawson, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a while since I've seen this Daredevil, but didn't she make out and hook up with Daredevil?
Murdoch?
Maybe in the first season.
Maybe kiss him or something? There was something going on? There was kind of, in this series, she has a very tiny thing going with Luke Cage at the end. You know, holding hands, inviting each other for coffee, sex. And the coffee thing is an ongoing thing from the very beginning. Luke Cage, you know what I liked about Luke Cage? He's a ladies' man. He's a very kind of...
definitely suave type of...
Yeah.
Like, I'm in control, let me handle this, honey. You know what I mean?
Thunder.
He's my chocolate thunder.
And their coat, I mean, he had...
sexual chocolate.
Yeah, he had a lot of women, you know, you see a tall, strong black man that's not thuggish, and you know, he's a man. He's a man's man, you
masculine.
know what I mean? You are going to have women offering yourself to him, you know. I thought for sure, let's take this step by step. What'd you think of Misty Knight? Or yeah, that's her character's name, Misty, the cop, the female cop.
I really like her character in the beginning.
Shit, we'll save that for the negatives.
Yeah, no. It's a little positive. I mean, I thought they portrayed her very like sensual and sexy when she had those scenes with Luke Cage.
You talking about the scenes in the bar?
Yeah, you know, she was like very flirtatious. Both of them being very flirtatious, and it seemed real to me. You know?
Oh yeah.
It didn't feel fake. I was like, man, I was watching 2 people really get their flirt on, you know, at a bar, and I was like, dang, you know what I mean?
This entire series, I never
That's
had
how you
a moment.
do it.
I never had a moment where it's like, I don't believe this interaction. I've always. Every actor in here was holding their fucking own. No doubt about it.
You know, another thing I like to point out is I like the contrast because, you know, last time we saw Luke Cage, he was like straight piping Jessica Jones. Breaking beds and stuff.
Yeah.
But then we talk about him here, he's a ladies' man. You know what I mean?
He's a gentleman.
And yeah, he's having gentlemanly sex with this woman.
He's not going all balls deep.
No, this is like making love.
He's giving them just the tip. Just the tip.
One of the scenes that I really enjoyed, spoiler alert, again, if you haven't seen this, sorry, but you've gone too far.
Yeah.
One of the favorite scenes is, right off the bat, they let you know, they ain't fucking around. Second episode, Pops dies. Right off, and when he dies, it was one of those powerful moments.
It was like, did that just happen?
Yeah, like, oh my god, they're going Game of Thrones style up in this bitch. You know what I mean? They're not waiting for... Yeah, really. Yeah. There's a lot of key characters that died in this.
It was pretty gruesome how he died, too, because he got shot in the neck, and, you know, there was just, like, blood squirting, and he was, like, holding on to it, and even when he had that exchange with Luke Cage as he was dying, like, on the floor afterward...
That was emotional.
It was like, very emotional.
I was like,
oh,
dang, man.
Not Pops, man. Yeah. Of everyone that was gonna die, why Pops?
But you know what? You knew Pops was gonna die. Yeah. Right from the first episode, they established a very good father figure relationship with Pops and Luke Cage, and I just knew, oh man, like he's gonna die.
But this is where we like felt to neglect that Disney has magic with making you feel for a character in a very short amount of time and making you. Like cry about him, like, oh my god, you know what I mean?
And you know what, Luke Cage, I'm sorry, I don't know your real name right off the top of my head, I just don't know it. But Luke Cage, in that very scene where Pops dies, and he's kneeling over, you know, holding Pops' head up, and he's talking, Pops is saying, always forward, always move forward, and even to his last breath, he's still coaching Luke Cage on how to live his life to the fullest. And Luke Cage, he started crying. It was a pivotal scene, but you know what? He did an amazing fucking job. I bought the whole crying thing, and I started getting watery eyed myself. I'm like, oh my goodness.
You know, which is another amazing thing, because we get our first taste of Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, and we didn't really get a good feel for his acting skills within Jessica Jones. So I was kind of afraid that he might not be a really good actor, going into his own series, but after watching his own series, I'm like, he handled it like a boss. He crushes it, man. Like the scene that Marcus was talking about. It was a very emotional scene, and it showed. It showed, and not only that scene, but there's others where he's like in a prison, and you could tell that there is like regret and like anguish and like all those bad feelings.
I liked all the scenes that were like the action scenes, because you got to see Luke Cage's power at that point. Like even in the scenes where he's in jail, and fighting back, like he just like just.
The thing that I really enjoyed about it too is that he really didn't kill anybody. He just like tossed them aside, knocked them out. Like that judo chop to the neck.
It was just like, and you know what? There was this one scene.
Slaps the
there was this one pivotal scene where he actually became like a fugitive, where he knocked out the 2 cops that were trying to arrest him, and before he knocked out the cops, he was like, "I'm sorry about this." And I was like, dude, he's that much of a straight up kind of guy. He's apologizing before he's gonna do it. Speaking of cops a little bit, here's one scene that I really enjoyed is like I said, in this series there's plenty of deaths, key characters. One of the main characters that I really enjoyed was Misty Knight's partner, the white cop, who was also kind of in the pocket of the main villain, or
a Diamondback,
of Cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth, there you go.
And he ends up dying halfway through, and I didn't think he was going to die, but he did. And you know what? It brings me comparing both deaths, right? Pop's death with Luke Cage and Misty's partner's death with Misty. I think Luke Cage did a better job at selling the tears than Misty. She was I wouldn't say struggling, but it was not on par with Luke Cage's.
I think it was also due to the fact of the context of it, where it's like Pops was a more
like straight
edge character,
where her partner
was he though? He has a bad history.
Yeah, he does have a bad history, but he left that though.
He redeemed himself. He redeemed himself. He said like, yes, I did this, but I chose to live this way. Yeah. Because I could have continued doing that, but I didn't.
And the third death that happened here. Now, first of all, before we talk about this third death, what do you think of Cottonmouth?
Cottonmouth Stokes?
Stokes,
yeah,
right.
I really enjoyed his character.
He was a badass character.
He was like the modern day like Scarface, but with a black attitude, you know what I mean?
Like whatever they're doing right in the TV series in terms of like creating like memorable and likable and enjoyable enemies, they need to bring that to the movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because they're definitely killing it here with like Purple Man with Jessica Jones and
very
William Fisk with Daredevil and Cottonmouth Stokes. And Luke Cage, I mean, man, these are badass guys.
Badass actors and badass characters. And he was, the guy that played Cottonmouth, he was, I don't remember his character's name, but he was on House of Cards. That's how I first saw him.
Yeah, he's Remy,
He's Remy, yeah. So I didn't know what to think of him at first, but after the first episode and a half, I was like, dude, this guy is nailing it. Like, he is so good.
Totally different roles.
And it's kind of crazy because you think he's the main villain, and it looks like he's preparing himself to be the main villain, but then halfway through, his cousin kills him in the heat of passion. And she then takes over and becomes essentially the main villain. Now, what do you guys think of that switcheroo?
I like the switcheroo, you know what I mean? I didn't necessarily see it coming, and it is her own like origin story as well. Like seeing her go from like her clean politicalness, or clean, you know what I mean? Like how clean can you be as a politician? It wasn't clean. How clean can you be as a politician? But moving from that type of clean to that really dirty, grimy criminal she is now. I mean, damn, man. I mean, there's a lot of like psychoanalyst, you know what I mean, type stuff that we got to do with her, because, you know, she basically killed her cousin, and it's like it doesn't even flinch.
She's been compromised.
Like Diamondback, when they all met at that one table, that gathering of like the head guys, and he's like, I just killed 3 guys and you didn't even flinch.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like, you're dangerous, you know what I mean?
But you know what? Her name is Miriam. I don't remember her character's first name. Shit. But her and Cottonmouth, they're cousins, and they kind of grew up in a very bad environment. So I would say killing is normal for them, or at least watching it is
murder around them.
Because when they went back in those flashbacks, you know, one of Cottonmouth's friends got his finger cut off
in front of them
by their aunt. You know what I mean? In front of them, and then the uncle took the kid out back to beat his ass, probably to kill him, because they really don't show it. You know, you just hear it, you know, in the background, like, you know, the guy wailing on him and stuff like that.
He killed him, probably. He must have killed him, yeah. And as far as memorable scenes that you guys remember, there's plenty for me to name. You know what?
I got one. I'm going to take this one from you. I like when Luke Cage is about to go into Fort Knox, and that kid draws the gun at him in the very beginning of the episode.
Oh.
You know what I mean? He's like, you really going to gun me down here at Atticus? I can't think of the guy's name.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And then he goes on to explain, like, who that... He goes on to explain to him.
Like one of our heroes?
Yeah.
You know... Yeah.
That was, like, a powerful speech to me, and I was like, dang. And then the kid, like, ran away as soon as he took the gun, and, like, he shot himself in the side, remember? And he was like, oh, he didn't even see, you know, like, attempt to see what the aftermath was, but...
And the cool thing about that scene that Toby's talking about is they show it at the beginning of the episode. I think it's episode 3 or so.
It's like a flash forward.
And then they go back, and then the actual episode starts, and then they go back to that same scene at the end of the episode. So it's kind of... that was kind of cool to see. That was one of my favorite scenes. But my favorite scene, and there's many. There's funny scenes. There's like shocking scenes. I'm gonna go with a shocker. So since I saw Luke Cage in Jessica Jones, he's always had Reva. That's his ex-wife. He's always loved her. Always thinks about her. Always has her picture in behind her glass cabinet in the bathroom, and as the series goes on, like around episode 9 or 10,
you see her true colors.
They're showing you flashbacks of how Luke Cage actually met Reva, and Reva was essentially his psychologist.
Yeah,
you know, prison psychologist.
The relationship was pretty much like the Joker and Harley Quinn started off.
Yeah,
in a sense.
So it's kind of reverse. It's kind of brilliant, because they're showing you the flashbacks, and you're kind of like, oh, that's sweet, you know, like he cares about her, she cares about him, and that's how they met and fell in love, and then things go on from there. And then all of a sudden, in episode 11 or so, you realize that she was actually, like, kind of prepping him the entire time they were meeting. She was creating like video blogs about him, his strengths, his weaknesses emotionally, and she was the one that essentially chose him to be in the prison fights. And I think she was part of the selective process of who would get powers as test dummies and who wouldn't. So she was like the entire time a two-faced bitch, you know?
Yeah, that's how I saw her.
It was like the ultimate betrayal, because like the entire time, it's like the entire time
didn't deserve it.
Lucas, Carl. I was going to call him Carl Lucas. Carl Lucas is his real name. Luke Cage. His love of his life. He realizes really he was being played the entire time. So it's kind of like the ultimate betrayal there. That's my fucking favorite scene, is when he found out.
I'm a pretty simple guy. I like intense action. I like, you know what I mean? Like those special moments are cool and everything, and you know they'll always work for the scenes. But I when I see a superhero movie, I want to see the superhero get down. You know what I mean? So there was a couple, like I remember like when he was it was like within the first couple episodes when he's going through those mobs of people, and he just like grabs one guy and just like throws him up in the air like it's nothing.
And he was hitting up the
and then you hear all the gunshots pop, and he's just like pop, 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 just dropping fools. And I was just like the whole time I was like,
it's like, what can you do against this guy? Yeah. I mean, if you're just an average Joe with a gun, you're kind of fucked. Like, there's nothing you can do.
And you're lucky that he doesn't want to kill you, you know?
Yeah, because he could easily do that, no problem.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Speaking of action, you know, the one action scene that I was like, whoa, like I did not expect that. It was Cottonmouth with the rocket launcher in the room.
Yeah,
and
that was awesome.
In the restaurant, I was like, no. Boom. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh man, I thought the Chinese lady died on that one, but she didn't. She lived.
Yeah.
But I just thought, okay, Cottonmouth, that's when I was like, Cottonmouth is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he will go any length to kill this mother effer.
You know, a couple other scenes that I thought were really good, and they showed like contrast between his strength and weaknesses when he got shot by those special bullets.
The Judas
bullets.
bullets.
The Judas bullets, and they couldn't take it out of him. You know what I mean?
That's kind of crazy.
And like there in itself, you know, you see his strength, which is his
also kind of his weakness.
Yeah, because he couldn't get into it with a scalpel because it would crack and break, and it was like, man, like how do you get it out of him? And they go on like later in the series, and they show you a couple episodes later, and they go through this like extreme process of like actually making his skin weaker to be able to take it out.
You know what's funny? Was when I was watching it, what she ended up doing, I was saying in my head, like, why don't you just drop it in there? Like, see if that worked. And then I wasn't expecting her to do such a simple thing.
Yeah.
And she did it, and it worked. I was like, the big ass battery to like bring him back to life. The computer.
I see. Yeah.
And then it electrocuted him and brought him back. I was like, why didn't she just do that and bring him back? And I was like, and then she did it, and I was like, oh. Sometimes you just gotta, you know, think out the box.
All right, guys. Favorite character. I'll go first since I already have one like right off the bat. Like, you would think I would be choosing Luke Cage or Cottonmouth or Rosario Dawson, but it's actually Misty Knight. She, to me, showed the most progression from beginning to end.
First, I agree with that, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, she was a seductive cop, undercover cop, originally, right? Then she has sex with Luke Cage. They kind of have like a chemistry together. Then she became very distant and kind of vulnerable in the sense that her partner died, who's been essentially working for the enemy for years, and she didn't know about it. She's a control freak, so she didn't see it coming. That affected her psychologically, emotionally, the whole nine. And then back to being collective, precise, and being a cop.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was like, boom, you definitely saw different stages from beginning to end with Misty Knight.
I would like to add with your comment. I like at the very end of the series, they actually show Misty with her hair all like frizzy and that looks like her comic book variation. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh man, like they're gonna really show her like that.
Throwback,
yeah, you know what I mean.
So is that your favorite character,
Misty? Oh no, it was actually Shades.
Oh my god, how did I miss that? Shades?
Shades was like, he was definitely the snake in the Garden of Eden.
He's the snake in the grass.
Yeah, he's definitely
you're just a snake in the grass.
Like he's controlling everybody. Like he's controlling
or manipulating them.
Yeah, exactly. Cottonmouth and his cousin Miriam, and then even Diamondback himself.
You know?
He was playing both ends.
Yeah, he was definitely playing both and then doing it very well.
Yeah.
You know? Like, one of my favorite scenes involving him was when they bailed him out at the end of like being in jail and stuff. And the new lackey tried to kill him in the elevator going up. And he's choking him, you know what I mean? And he just pulls out the gun. Pah, pah, pah.
Speaking of guns, I need to sneeze. I need to sneeze again. Oh,
you ain't gonna
sneeze.
And that's what I think of that elevator scene.
How about you, D? Who's your favorite character in the series?
For me, was Stokes. I really like intense characters that make a presence and you just fear them without even having to you just bow down to that guy. He's like the Godfather almost in a sense. Like he's untouchable. He is the king at one point.
A lot of his monologuing was excellent. Like in that very first monologue where he's like walking in his office and the picture of Biggie's in the background. Then he comes into frame where the crown over the
everybody wants to be king.
Yeah, that was sick.
And that was our first chance. That same scene that Toby's talking about is the very first scene that we get to see Stokes or Cottonmouth kill someone with his bare fucking fist. Like he's literally like beating the guy to death, blood splattering all over his face, and it's like, dude, this guy's crazy ass motherfucker. It reminded me of like Mr. Fisk when he was slammed that dude's head against the fucking door, a car door, and he's just splattered all over this with blood. So
it's a power complex.
It kind of sucks that he died, but I could definitely see.
I was hurt that he died. I was hurt that he died and the cousin took over or whatever.
She wasn't that strong.
He just kept the presence there. He was just more intimidating to me than her.
Yeah, he was definitely more physically intimidating.
But then he had his brother who was, that was the brother, right? The brother of Luke Cage, right? Was
the brother of Luke Cage is Diamondback.
Diamondback.
The main villain.
Diamondback was probably up there close to probably my second favorite. Just because on the fact that he just brought it to Luke Cage. And he would not stop.
He was obsessed with him.
He just kept bringing it, even to the point of like having a suit to meet him at his level. Like he was just obsessed. He wanted to be the guy to stop him.
Speaking of,
almost dead.
Now let's talk our worst characters. The character that kind of like could have been better, could have been, maybe left out. For me, speaking of Diamondback, for me was Diamondback. I didn't like that character at all. At first, he was very strong, and then he became weaker the more I got to know him. Like the reasons why he was stalking Luke Cage weren't strong enough of a reason for me to be like, why is he going through all this trouble to kill Luke Cage or ruin his life? Because they're half brothers and his dad liked him more than Stokes. Like that didn't make. Well, I guess it's because his mom killed herself, and all this stuff. But
it brought enough emotion for him to want to have some sort of negativity towards him, even though it was kind of unjust. It wasn't Luke's fault, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But he's one of my least favorite characters as well. In addition to, I feel like his character is too much of a trope of the jealous sibling type that wants to get revenge against their other sibling because their other sibling outshined them and they're upset. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of tired and played out. Everything else though I liked about him.
Yeah.
His voice and how he would talk in phrases demeanor, and stuff like that.
The way he kind of paused when he said things, it just brought
Agreed.
It just brought an emotion that I think a lot of the other actors that even though they were intense and aggressive, that he just portrayed in a different manner.
Side note, you know who I thought he sounded like a little bit? The guy who plays Candyman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of sounded like him, yeah.
Yeah, he's Candyman 2.0.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like him, too,
a little bit.
So, is that your least favorite character?
I would have to agree. That is my least favorite character in that aspect, I felt like that the trope was worn out,
What about you?
My least favorite character was the lady, like I said earlier. I wanted to see Cottonmouth a little bit more in there.
And less of his cousin.
And less of his cousin. I wanted it. But like he said, I don't think the dynamic between those two would have been enough to have that jealousy rivalry. Now that you brought it up, that does make sense.
If I didn't pick Diamondback, I would have probably picked Domingo, the Mexican head guy, who, by the way...
Bend the wire!
Yeah, who by the way, is Joker, Baby Joker, or Little Joker, in the movie Friday After Next.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good in that.
Yeah.
I almost didn't recognize him with his long-ass hair, but...
Got my money, party with bitches. Hundreds of
That was the last time I saw him, actually. So when I saw him like for the first time, I was like, "Wait a minute, that's like that guy that I haven't seen in like 10 years."
Or big ass titties.
But you know what? Even with my Diamondback setback, he wasn't a bad character. He was just the least strong for me.
Yeah.
Now comes the moment of truth. Rating 1 through 10. Go D.
I'm gonna have to give this probably an 8.5 out of 10.
Toby?
I don't think it's a 9. I don't think it's better than Daredevil. Well, Daredevil's first season is a 9. Daredevil's second season is 10 for me. Jessica Jones. It kind of roams. 9 for me. It kind of roams between an 8.5 to a 9 to me, and I think this is where this one stands. It's like a tad bit better than Jessica Jones for me, and I have to give it an 8.8. 8 out of
We'll just say 8.5 because he's consistently breaking the rules. It's either a half a point or a full point.
8.8991
72105.
I'm actually
pie. Pie, motherfucker, pie.
I think we're all in agreement. I'm going to go with an 8.5. Depending on my mood and the day, it could switch to 9. So 9 to an 8.5, but right now 8.5.
But you know, there's so much other things that was
so
such
much.
good about the show. Like the soundtrack was amazing throughout the whole series. The hip hop, the jazz,
R&B,
the blues. Oh my god, it was wonderful. And not only that, but like all the little cameos to like
Faith Evans.
Yeah, like Faith Evans and Method Man and
Sway.
Like Sway, you know,
you got the answer, Sway.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot.
Got the answers.
Method Man's little scene in the shop was awesome.
Sweaters.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh."
That was one of my most memorable scenes. I cannot believe I forgot that. Method Man.
And he also spat some bars. You know what I mean, with the whole like bulletproof love thing. Like I really enjoyed that song. Like I want to get that single. It
was original song. He still got it.
You know what? Now I want to switch it to a 9. Fuck.
It was really good.
You know, I will have to disagree with you on the fact that I like this better than Daredevil season 1, not season 2, but I like it better than season 1. I don't like it more than Jessica Jones because I think Jessica Jones just brought that psychological aspect out of it, like left field. I would give Jessica Jones a 9. I'd give Daredevil an 8. I'd put Luke Cage 8.5.
Daredevil season 1 or 2 an 8?
Season 1, I'd give it an 8. Season 2, I'd give it a 10.
On that note, if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next week.
Peace out.
Bye.
Not me, because I'll be dead.